Hello, this is Sunny Daze, Hooper, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to do paddles and breaks. I know it's something that a lot of people want to do when they first begin hooping because it looks so cool, but it definitely can be tricky. It took me a long time to figure out. So we're definitely going to be learning breaks like this, and we're also going to be learning paddles. They're both really fun and a cool technique to add to on body hooping. So first I'm going to go over just a normal break. So first I'll say this much, it is once again harder to do with a heavier hoop. The lighter hoop that you have, the easier it is, because the law of inertia states that something that's moving doesn't want to stop moving. So if we want to break it in the other direction, something lighter is going to be a lot easier than something a bit heavier like a beginner hoop. So don't get too discouraged if you're having trouble with a bigger hoop doing these. So now we'll get on to the actual technique. The first thing that I say if you're practicing breaks is to try not breaking it. You don't necessarily need to be able to hoop in the other direction, though it's definitely helpful, or to even chest hoop. You just need to learn how to actually grab it with this hand or this hand. So if you can just do a simple toss, you don't necessarily have to do this at first. So when you catch it, something else that's going to really help maintain its direction is if you hit your back. So when I actually do a break and I swing it like this, it's making 2 points of contact before I can ever switch the direction, which is right here on my arm and my back. And I always feel that, and then I also have it right here on my arm and my hand. So it's 3 points of contact because I've got my hand kind of wrapped around it. So that's going to just make it more stable going back. So you're going to catch it. You're just trying to catch it over here, okay? Catch it. Now, when you actually want to get these to go, a lot of hoopers, what I see what they'll do is they do this. You can break like this, and in more advanced hoopers for sure, but what happens when you're doing this and you keep your hands really close to your body, the hoop isn't very stable, especially if it's a bigger hoop again. So now my hoop has a lot of area to just kind of flumble and flumble around. So make sure that you are turning towards the break, okay? Make sure it's hitting that backside to give it that stability, okay? And eventually you should be able to do this. So once you get good at that, you have the feel of how that's supposed to feel, you'll be able to do it without touching either arm, but it's definitely a good place to start. So now on to the paddles. Even though these are actually a little bit harder to learn, in my opinion, they made breaks a lot easier, and then when they clicked for me, it was kind of like that moment in math where it's like, oh yeah, why wasn't I doing this the whole time? So the trick to paddles is that you're swimming, and I kind of encourage you to just kind of drop your hoop for a second. The motion you're breaking is still this, right? So we're going back and forth, okay? So now it's kind of like a dance move almost. This hand, while it's over here, my other hand is going to be sitting here. It's going to be ready to push out because I'm paddling, okay? And I kind of like think of it like a dance move, like don't hurt me or something like that, I don't know. But you're making your hand go around, and then it's going to go around and out. And then your other hand, once it leaves, it's going to go back in. So around and in, around, back and in, around, back and in. I don't know if that looks right, but kind of get that motion that you're going to do this and this. Okay, that's the big thing. Now, when you're doing paddles, definitely kind of imagine swimming a little bit, but also kind of think about your hand guiding that hoop out. Like if it was never hitting and I was just guiding it around, like I'm forcing the hoop. Forcing that hoop. I'm almost touching it the entire way around before it has to leave and come out here to actually catch it again. So you're almost making contact with the hoop the entire time. And that's why they say it makes it more stable. So when you're doing vertical hooping, if you can paddle, if I can't paddle when I'm doing this, it can get real lopsided, but the paddle makes it go faster, and it makes it easier to be able to transition to vertical hooping, in my opinion. So definitely just don't get too discouraged, but you're pushing that out. hopefully I explained it a little bit better than some of the other ones if you guys still aren't getting it. And if you do have any questions, just comment me or message me, and I will try to answer for you guys so you guys can do breaks and paddles because they're so much fun.